Previously on Meerkat Manor, tragedy struck when under the strain of her new leadership role, Rocket Dog lost her pups. And after being apart for almost a month, Flower reunited the Whiskers, returning them to supergroup status. As the sun sets over the Kalahari, the well-fed Whiskers have returned home early to their burrow. After a long day's foraging, some of the group take time to unwind before bed. Group leader Flower proudly sits amongst her extended family. With the whole gang back together, she's now at the head of the largest group in the area. And judging by her size, it looks like their numbers are going to increase once more. Whilst the rest of the family relaxes, Flower retires for the evening. Pregnant for a little over 2 months, it seems her third litter of the year are only moments away from entering the world. The following morning, the group reluctantly unravel themselves from their comfortable sleeping positions. Flower is already up and eager to get on with the day. It's obvious she's given birth overnight. Keen to avoid the boss, Daisy and Maybelline keep their distance. Pregnant and the prime candidates for eviction, they've been lucky not to have been expelled. But with plentiful resources available, Flower has allowed them to stay within the family fold, for the time being at least. When most of the group have surfaced, the domestic duties have to be dealt with. But not everyone is eager to pitch in with the group's chores. With a laid-back attitude sweeping across the burrow, some of the Whiskers' workforce has fallen by the wayside. Einstein has discovered a relatively clever way to achieve heaps without actually lifting a paw. Once the housework is done, the group set off in search of breakfast. And with Spud and Sophie left behind to guard the burrow, the new litter of pups couldn't be in safer hands. But while Flower's group are only just getting started, half a kilometre away, a rival gang are already out and up to no good. Led by handsome Houdini and feisty Punk, the Zapper are much closer to the Whiskers than they should be. Since this ambitious pair took charge, their group have been on the rise, increasing their numbers and growing in confidence. Used to taking liberties with the Whiskers' ladies, now the dominant male of Zapper has turned his attention to taking Whiskers' land. Not only have the Zapper brazenly breached the Whiskers' border, but they've boldly brought their young pups, Axel, Slash and Rose, along for their first taste of plundered prey. The Whiskers are taking the day at a leisurely pace. With the group's numbers so large and the rains having brought an abundance of food, they've gone from a daily struggle for survival to simply swanning around. At times like this, it's not so tough being a meerkat, especially when you're part of the well-off Whiskers. Full of beans, Buster and Suggs have little interest in cooling off in the shade. It seems their lively antics are catching on. Before long, most of the gang are tangled up in the youngsters' games. Even desert dignitary Flower joins in the rough and tumble. Though the boss can let her fur down once in a while, experience has taught her to never let down her guard. And with good reason. Flower has spotted the Zapper. Quickly, the Whiskers gather together to form an impressive army. The Zapper take their stand on the brow of a dune, but wish they hadn't. Facing Flower for the first time since the Whiskers regrouped, Punk and Houdini are looking a lot less confident. Even though they've shared a history, Houdini doesn't fancy rubbing up against Flower in her war mode. With young Pups in tow and the Whiskers back to full strength, the Zapper know they've overstepped the mark. Anxious to avoid a battle, they frantically begin gathering their pups. In a bid to defend their land, the Whiskers charge towards their opponents, displaying their sheer size and strength. In fear of their lives, Houdini and Punk make a swift retreat. Unable to carry her pup any further, Lola drops him in a bid to save herself. Axel will have to take what comes. With the Zapper seen off, Flower and the others set about securing this patch as Whiskers' property. Scent marking is the meerkat way of warning other groups to stay out. With a new litter of vulnerable pups back at their burrow, it's more important than ever that the Whiskers safeguard their borders. Abandoned in enemy territory, Axel desperately cries out, but no one is coming to his rescue. As the distance between Axel and his family increases, his chances of survival are steadily dropping. Having only left the burrow once before, he simply doesn't know how to find his way home. Lost in the bush and with a hungry mole snake sizing him up, Axel is clearly vulnerable. And in blistering heat, temperatures aren't the only things soaring. Predators are always on the lookout for the weak, defenseless, and tasty. With the odds stacked against him for little Axel, the wheels have come off. While the Whiskers furiously lay down their scent, Mitch is distracted by a call carried on the breeze. As he moves to meet the cries, he discovers Axel, the lost Zapper pup, Chance encounters like this rarely happen. If the Whiskers came across Axel during a Burrow raid, he would almost certainly be killed. But one-on-one with a helpless pup, Mitch seems unsure how to react. For now, his instincts are not to kill. As Mitch turns to leave the youngster, Axel innocently follows. Too young to know not to go with strangers, he feels safe with any adult. But Axel smells of Zapper, a fact which could cost him his little life. Eventually, Mitch relents and carries the hapless youngster back to the others. Surrounded by over 30 of the Whiskers group, Axel has been thrown into the lion's den. If he's seen as a threat, he'll be killed. The life or death decision rests with Flower. Dropping Axel at her feet, it seems fortune has smiled on this bewildered youngster. Flower has spared his life. Though meerkats are not in the habit of adopting pups from other groups, having survived this introduction, Axel may just get away with it. As he stumbles between the Whiskers adults, young Axel is looking as lost as ever. Eventually, Rocket Dog takes the little orphan under her wing. With Axel in need of lots of care and attention, her instinct to nurture seems to have taken over. But there won't be time for Axel to meet the whole family. On the afternoon thermals, a snake eagle soars effortlessly in search of prey. If he can't find a snake, a meerkat will do. With the predator spotted, the warning call ripples through the group, sending the whole gang darting for the nearest bolt holes. Scooped up by Rocket Dog, Axel is carried to safety. Eventually, one by one, the group cautiously emerges. Though Flower is anxious to return to her own pups, with an airborne hunter cruising for quarry, they'll have to sit it out a little while longer. Their only option is to stay close to a bolt hole until they're certain the threat has passed. Half an hour later, the coast is clear and Flower is keen to get moving once again. With their day having been dominated by rival gangs and hungry predators, now Flower's mission is to get everyone back to the safety of the den. But as the group make their way home, they've no idea what terrifying surprise awaits them. Lurking in the vicinity of their babysitting burrow is a venomous Cape Cobra. Flower's pups could be a sitting target. Though the Whiskers have encountered cobras before, finding one so close to their babysitting burrow is a much more serious problem. This deadly predator is known to hunt pups. Staring the lethal cobra in the face, Flower and the rest of the family begin mobbing the snake. Axel watches from a safe distance. This is no place for a defenseless pup. Courageously, the group work as one to drive the snake away. Eventually, with Mitch biting at his tail, the cobra concedes. It's a resounding victory for the Whiskers. With the predator driven off, the gang quickly turn to check on Axel. Removed from the action, he's managed to stay out of harm's way. Keen to get Axel back to safety and check on her own newborn pups, Flower gets the group moving once more. But with a snake in the grass, she's got to keep an eye out for danger. Axel tries to follow under his own steam, but exhausted, he can barely keep up. It seems the harder he tries, the longer it takes. Flower, once again, comes to his aid. As the group focus on helping Axel, their aggressor slithers away, taking cover in precisely the place the Whiskers were trying to defend. Below ground, the babysitters and pups have no idea their den is now harboring such a fearsome predator. With their burrow in sight, Flower and the rest of the gang have finally made it home. But as they near their den, they realize something's not right. They've picked up the cobra scent. With Flower's precious pups trapped below ground, they launch once more into an aggressive mobbing. Using their growl calls, they desperately try to threaten the cobra, but unless they can kill the snake, the pups stand little chance of survival. Group leader Flower pushes to the front. With the cobra driven deeper into the burrow, she courageously follows into the lair. In one daring act, the future of an entire group can be changed. Flower has received a fatal bite to the head. For 4 years, Flower was the Whiskers' faithful dominant. From humble beginnings, she created one of the largest close-knit families on the manor. Flower was a formidable leader and a noble mother. The desert has lost its favorite rose. Though Flower died defending her pups, the measure of a leader is not determined by one single act. It's their lasting legacy that truly matters. As Bella takes her first faltering steps out of the burrow into the light, Flower's legend lives on. Next time on Meerkat Manor, the Whiskers come to terms with their loss, and the search for a new leader begins.